I believe the current time have a lot of the challenges. As all of you are aware, actually, the disruption coming every day. But despite of this, what we see based on the current market reality in UAE, in a particular, we see the growth. And you can ask, why this growth so low still? We do expect the double digit. Where are those numbers? But numbers in the details. What is really important here, when we look at the FMCG, and also we put another part of our business which we focusing on measuring, which is electronics, tech and durables, both industries show the growth. And what is important here to highlight, this growth is not marginal anymore. We see consumption grow. Yes, it's still low single digit in the first half of 2024, and we anticipate that this growth will continue until the end of the year, and we will see the number around a middle single digit. But once again, it's a consumption driven. Consumption is recovering. But coming back and talking about the double digit, we put some of the latest trends, what we see across the market, and not just only in UAE, in GCC overall. E-commerce. And you remember the last year when we have spoken about the e-commerce a lot. It's still growing, continuing growing. Not just only in the sales, but also in consumption. We see that consumers quite demanding for more SKUs, for the products which they are looking for. What is really interesting that we see the growth of premium products within the e-commerce, and it continues. For some categories, e-commerce already taking a lead. For some brands, it's more than half of their business moving to the e-commerce. If you're going forward, what is interesting trend we see, again, double-digit growth for the smaller brands, for the smaller local brands which have an opportunity right now to get an access to the consumer. Again, sometimes through the e-commerce. Keeping up the momentum. It's not just simply local brands. This is local brands coming with the very efficient sort of either the way of consume the product as well as targeting the needs of the consumer. And this is what we are talking about, the health and well-being. It's across the trend. And this trend getting accelerated. And last but not least, because all of us talking about the consumers which is under the pressure, but what does it mean? It means that they're ready to spend the money, but not just to spend. They are investing the money when they buy the food. And this is what is the different. And you will hear me later on talking about this one. We see that consumers looking at the food, not just a point to fulfill the stomach. They're looking at the food as the medicine. They want a food work. And it's less about the quantity anymore. It's about the quality. Moreover, we see that there are much more demand for out-of-home consumption. And last but not least, HoReCa as the channel, growing year over year. More than 50–60% of the new stores coming across in UAE, in Saudi Arabia. We see that consumers want to indulge themselves. They want to communicate. They want to have a different experience. And it's going much beyond than about the volume or quantity which they wanted to buy or consume. And what is one of the enabler for all of this double-digit growth? And as we see across the board, a lot of the new products can be launched in FMB. In Saudi Arabia, as one of the examples here, more than 17,000 of the new items have been launched during the last 2 years. But only 25% of them succeed and move to the second year. Majority of them, unfortunately, couldn't make it. And we analyze all of those new launches across. And what we find out, there are 3 reasons of potential failure or success. And as you could see here, it's starting from the idea. It's not just something a short term, something to drive like a success now, in this moment. It's a long term. Idea is critical. Product. And last but not least, activation. Without the proper activation, even if you have a great idea, you're not able to reach the customers. How are they going to find all of the great things about your product? We see that successful launches, which is coming to the market, they are focusing predominantly on those 3 areas of the factor of success. What are the examples? And here I'm bringing a couple of them because we see that a lot of the launches coming towards to the direction of line extension, which we not necessarily will call innovation because they can come with a different flavor or even a different form of the product. But what we need to be mindful, that line extension, in a certain of the extent, can cannibalize the mother brand. And here there are a couple of examples. One of them on the left side, you see Snickers, which is launched the line extension with the creamy flavor. Majority of the growth of this SKU driven by cannibalization. Last but not least, moving to another example, Ferrero or Nutella brand, launching the biscuits, giving them quite strong incremental sales. Therefore, line extension differ from one to another. And I think some of them, if they're really targeting the consumer needs, can be very successful, especially using the strong equity of the brand, of the mother brand. Moving to another examples, again from our countries. Here again, I don't know how many French we have in the room, but I will try. L'usine brioche. I hope I'm right. This is the launch which have been done by Almarai. And you will ask, but this is the bread. This is some of the sort of mass product. But even within this product, if you come in with the very strong idea and the product execution, you can be very successful. In a particular, this example, they're positioning like healthiness, protein, calcium as inside of bread, which is again giving this heritage. But as I mentioned in the beginning, product which can help the customer or consumer in the daily life. Another example, it's more about the convenience. And I'm constantly talking about the convenience. And by the way, you could see on the first slide, consumers are ready to pay more for the convenience. They even can switch the store because of the convenience. They are ready to pay premium for the convenience. And I see my friend Tom inside of the room. I believe that yesterday he shared a lot about that. This is another example how the convenience, and in that case on the left side of the chart, you see the coffee example, which is not only about premium coffee, quality, but it's also convenient of the usage when you put this sachet inside of the mug. And you can easily remove it after you put the boiled water. Therefore, certainly you can see there are a lot of the great examples, even within the line extension or new launches, completely new products, which can resonate with the customer, despite of being premium. The question which we always asked, but just tell us how to define, how to find this idea. And we have millions of the ideas around the world tested by our team. And today, we will introduce competition, because I don't want to call it battle, competition between machine and machine plus consumer. What did we do? We look at Saudi Arabia in a particular, 3 categories: salty snack, sweet snacks, and ready-to-drink type of products. And we ask machine using the consumer trend, which we call cyborg, to generate those ideas. And in a minute, I will show you those ideas. First of all, machine. All of those ideas, once again, was generated by the AI, completely. And some of them looks very interesting, actually. Like, I love my favorite one. You're never going to guess. Baklava brownies. I still need to tell to my daughter, because she likes to cook brownies. I don't know how she will resonate that product with her, but sounds interesting. Sounds local. Anyway. Or another one, cardamom chai latte. Yeah, quite interesting mix. And next one, ideas generated by the AI using the consumer trends. Combination, cyborg. And here again, we have a baklava, but I think it's much more resonating with us. Baklava with pistachios. And you see a lot of others as well, ready-to-eat drinks and so on. The question, because after those 10 ideas each, we put them on our algorithm, and we test which or how many ideas from AI or from the cyborg would be successful in case they launch on the market. Any ideas? Who won the competition? Cyborg? Who think that it's a cyborg? 1, 2, 3. Who thinks that it's AI? All right, we just have a little bit of parity. Machine 3, cyborg 7. It means that if you rely only on AI, you have a 70% of the failure in case you launch those initiatives or ideas, products, which have been generated by AI only. Obviously, you could see that AI still needs a bit of time, and it's very critical, for sure, to use the consumer trends, consumer view on the products. But considering everything what we heard during the morning time, the generation, and again, different consumers come into the market, young consumers. And what we see across 4 countries, we took it as an example. Saudi Arabia, we took Egypt, and South Africa, and Turkey. More than half of the consumers in Saudi Arabia and in Egypt ready to rely on the AI experience without even testing the product. They can order the products just going and using the VR. And we have one of the great example from the Union Corp, which called Perfect Store, when you can use VR and you can make an order. We see that the awareness as well as the trust of that one quite strong, more than half once again. And majority of the consumers in Saudi and in Egypt ready to make an order or give AI a chance to make an order on their behalf. And obviously we see that across the board this trend will continue to accelerate. And for us, this is just only the point of the time. What is next for you? What is next? you see that the disruption which is starting from, which is created across, have a lot of the impact on the consumer. Is it good? Is it bad? I think everyone will decide. But what we believe and what we see that with the innovation and with the new products, everybody have an opportunity right now. Especially considering that we have young population which is quite digitalized and so on, ready and looking forward for the products which will cover, feed, and answer on their needs. Maybe the last point I would like to raise and ask you here, or maybe add it here. It's very important to act. Because if you are not act, somebody will do it, and not us. Thank you very much.